Well, we're in the international break, and you guys know what that means, right? 2-0. This is Red Card Radio. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever you're listening from. Thanks for tuning in. Red Card Radio is a weekly look at the Premier League from three friends who support different clubs. My name is James. I support Arsenal and the United States men's national team. This is Brad. He supports Chelsea Football Club and the United States men's national team. And down below is Sean. He supports Tottenham Hotspurs and the United States men's national team. What is going on, boys? How y'all doing?
I'm ready to get in these comments. I got a little something for Jimmy.
Yo, he's ready to go.
Sean, it's like Sean looked at the comments before we got here.
Oh yeah. That
doesn't happen.
I actually looked this time.
That doesn't happen very frequently.
Does it?
No, it does. It does. Behind the scenes, yes, it does. Sometimes I pretend. No, I don't look at the comments.
You don't look at anything.
Actually, breaks got us all messed up.
For the viewers, I don't look at the comments as they come in. I look at them as they post them on our notes.
All right.
I have the login to all of our shit. I don't actually log into any of that shit.
We get his genuine reactions to your comments in real time.
And
that's what we love here on Red Card Radio.
I mean,
Red Card Radio, we're about genuine reactions.
I mean, honestly, sometimes that's good because some of them are directed at you, Sean.
Most of them, which I don't mind. Bring it on.
A good number. All right. So before we dive into everything, let me give you a quick rundown what we got on offer for you this evening. Of course, we're going to talk about our comments from our last episode. Then we're going to talk a little bit about just some things that have been going on in the international break. Of course, you guys heard us reference the United States men's national team. Pretty jazzed about their two games over the international break. So we'll talk about some U.S. men's national team. Couple notes on Uefa qualifications, a couple notes in the Premier League before we look forward to match week 12 in the EPL coming up this weekend. But before we get into anything, if you are listening, first, we really appreciate it. Thank you so much for listening. Second, if you could hit that like button, if you could hit that subscribe button, ring that sub notification bell on YouTube, rate us 5 stars on your platform if you're listening on a podcast platform, Apple Podcasts. I know they can do that. Leave us a comment. Interact with us. We really do appreciate it. We are in Operation Trick Google and Trick Apple. So get your wife's YouTube account, subscribe on her YouTube account, subscribe to the podcast on her Apple Podcast subscription. We're gonna fool Silicon Valley, you and me and all of our red carders together. And we really would appreciate if you do those things. And if you don't, we wouldn't want you to be mildly inconvenienced by something, right, Sean?
Yeah. You wouldn't want to do that because if you don't do all those things, you might have a marathon in your city, which closes off all of your paths to get across the city because it goes long ways and you need to get across ways. That would be that did happen for the Richmond Marathon, and I could only stay on one half of the city.
Oof. Interesting. Go for it, Brad.
There's a marathon in Charlotte that does our whole inner loop, and you can't get into the city
for it's 7 hours. For 7 hours.
So I have an interesting marathon anecdote as well. Roanoke, where I live, has a marathon, the Blue Ridge Marathon, and it's one of the toughest marathons in the country because they make you run up a mountain, which seems quite difficult. But
I ran cross country. It is at Wise.
Yeah,
I ran cross country for Wise.
Yeah,
hated it.
But the weekend of my wedding, the day of my wedding, the Blue Ridge Marathon was going on in Roanoke, while we were trying to get married. Luckily for us, our wedding was in the afternoon, but it was a little stressful trying to get logistics and getting things around. But that's my interesting marathon anecdote. But so definitely do all those things. Like, subscribe, comment so that you don't have a random marathon intersecting your city and making it impossible for you to travel.
During your wedding day.
You
don't want to do that.
Yeah.
No.
You don't want to do that. So you might want to drop a 5-star, subscribe, and like.
Just to make sure the wedding day goes okay.
Oh, that's great.
Just for that. Think of your fiance.
Yeah, think of your partner.
Just think of her or your partner. Yeah,
or him. Think of your fiance or your
well,
wife to be, your husband to be.
Ways.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
Fiance goes both ways. Think of your fiance at this moment.
All right. So, comments from last week. Got 2 comments. Why are you guys laughing at me?
Because it's stupid.
No, it's stupid. Sean's struggle right here. You're like,
all right. I'm just making sure it's not directed at me, that it's directed at Sean.
No, we're just stupid.
It's always directed at Sean.
We're stupid. That's why.
Jimmy,
what's Jimmy got to say?
Jimmy's got it. I'm confused what you're upset about Jimmy for. So I'll just read his first comment. So this first comment's about Steven Gerrard.
Okay, is this the second one? I got something planned for Jimmy.
All right. So his comment: Gerrard to Villa is a tough one for me. However, with my now renewed hatred for the club that is Tottenham, and the comment I made a few weeks back about supporting Villa, I guess Villa is now officially my new EPL pet club.
Well, sir. They're the worst club in London.
Tottenham, yeah, that's unfortunate. Tottenham is the worst club in London.
The worst club in London.
No, Villa.
I think we established
that's a running joke. Joke from probably like 6th podcast. I assumed
it was one of our first.
It was one of our first ones.
One of our first public podcasts, because we did like 4 or 5 behind closed doors, and then we went public. And you made this asinine comment about Villa being in public, and it was
Villa being in London, which they're actually in Birmingham. I do know that Villa are in Birmingham. Okay,
God, I hope they're in Birmingham.
My God, I hope so too. Because now I've made a declaration.
Like 3 times.
Hey, look, Jimmy. You can like the Fighting Grealishes all you want, but Grealish ain't there no more. So that'll be your little pet club.
So I assume you have more lined up for his next comment, because his next comment is about Giorgio. But in this comment specifically, I honestly think as a Liverpool supporter you should be pretty happy about this, because there is concern about Klopp leaving in 2023. I think it is after the 2023 season. His contract's up. It's either 23 or 24. I don't remember which. It doesn't matter. But the concern is that, or at least the talk around the COP is that, Steven Gerrard's managing now. Could he manage Liverpool? And take it from me, who has a former player managing their club, who probably is not quite ready yet. You don't really want that yet. You don't want to have to go through the process of letting your manager cut his teeth in the Premier League. I love Mikel Arteta. I'm very happy he's our manager. Are there other managers out there that we could have gotten that are better? Absolutely. But that's neither here nor there. So this is, I think, good for the prospect of Steven Gerrard one day managing Liverpool Football Club, because he's going to cut his teeth in the league. Clearly, he's being very successful. I also need to make an apology, because last week I said he was leaving Celtic. He actually left Rangers, so that was on me. Yeah. I misspoke last week. So he was wildly successful at Rangers. He did very well domestically. Yes. Not so good in Europe, but he did very well at Rangers. So I think this season with Villa, stay up, finish anywhere between 15th and 10th. Great. And then go into next year and fight.
I think the distinction should be that Gerrard, because Gerrard and Lampard are always going to be linked. They were the best midfielders of 2 rivaling clubs in standings, whether they're not rivals, but they're in standings for a long time. They're the 2 best midfielders.
It's because they're English.
Probably in English history.
They were 2 best English midfielders at the same time.
Probably, at the same time.
I guess you can make an argument.
So they're always going to be compared to each other. And Lampard got the Chelsea job too early, to your point. Where he was not ready. He was not ready.
But
and then Gerrard cut his teeth in Scotland.
Yeah.
Then now is getting this job with Villa, and he has got a ramp to Liverpool.
Yeah.
Where Lampard got thrown into it way too early, and that's going to be my point. Is it's unfair to Lampard to judge his managerial skills on what he did with Chelsea, because Chelsea's expectations are here and his skill level is here.
Yeah,
it's not fair to Lampard.
So I agree, but I don't think he necessarily did terrible for being at Chelsea. I mean, he still won the Wenger Trophy of 4th, so he kept us in Champions League. He did his job, but it wasn't special. You're 100% correct. He was way too.
My point is, your roster could do that with me managing.
Oh no, because we didn't. We had a transfer ban and we just lost our best player.
Yeah, so that's why Lampard was brought in because they couldn't attract the top managers because they'd had the transfer ban, and so that's why Lampard came in.
And that's why most of our team came through on Lampard. Like all of our graduates from Cobham pretty much came through from him. Besides Chaloba. Everybody else came through from him.
Well, Chaloba's only just now breaking into the first team.
Correct. That's why that's what I'm saying.
Played like four times or 5 times, something like that. He hasn't played a lot for the first team yet in the Premier League. He's probably played in like Europe League.
But either way,
things, whatever.
Either way, I just think it's good for Gerrard. We don't need to spend a lot of time.
I don't know. I don't know if it is though.
You don't know if it's a good job.
What if Villa? I think there's more risk here than there was at Rangers.
You're saying what if he sucks at Villa?
Yeah. No, what if they collapse?
That's good for Liverpool because now they know that Gerrard doesn't have it.
Right.
So
I'm saying for Gerrard, if that's his ultimate goal, right? Like
I see it opposite. I see it opposite as James.
Okay.
I see it as this is a win-win for Gerrard.
I think it's a win-win for Liverpool too.
We take over a not really great club.
But what's there to win?
Yeah, you stay up, you win, you lose. Liverpool's like, not a great club.
Well, Villa have ambition. It's like you heard in the statement when they sacked Dean Smith that they have ambition. You can see with the way that they've spent money, the owner investment that they've had over the last 5 years, that they have ambition and they are an ambitious club and they want to be competing in Europe or competing for Europe.
Sure, but you're at least 2 or 3 years away from that.
I said that fully believing in what I've seen from Gerrard and Rangers. I think he's going to be fine.
I think so too. I think he's going to be good.
I think so too. I just think there's a lot more risk here when he could have just kept piling up trophies and then picked a little bit bigger of a club before Liverpool. That's all I was saying. I think,
and this is not taking a shot at Brad, but I think of those two midfielders, Gerrard was the computer head, the dude. Like I think he was the mind of the midfield. More so than Lampard. I think he has everything on the field in his head. He sees all of it before it happens. I think he's that type of player, and that's what is going to make him a good manager.
I think you just described Xavi more than Gerrard, but we can continue.
Yeah, I think Gerrard is Xavi-like, but he's not quite Xavi. Like, I'm not going to go that far.
What Sean is trying to say, let me synthesize this for you, Brad. Gerrard, Chad, Lampard, Beta. He's wrong. He's taken Gerrard over Lampard. He's trying to eloquently put this in a way that seems intellectual. He's trying to intellectualize the take of, I think Gerrard is better than Lampard.
Well, just mentally. It's not not physically.
Yo, he just said Lampard sucks, Brad.
I did not say that. I was trying very hard not to insult Brad.
He's a Tottenham fan. What
very hard. Here? You know what? Fuck Lampard. No, I'm kidding.
All right.
All right. Next one. I got something for Jimmy right here.
Do you want to read his comment then?
Fuck yeah. Let's go. I'll go out on a limb here. That when Sean wears his new Chiellini jersey, that the Ibra shootout.
Okay, hold on.
You read. I can't read out loud. Are you kidding me? I can barely read in general.
All right, this is Jimmy speaking. All right. So this is Jimmy speaking. He says, I'll go out on a limb here and say that when Sean wears his new Chiellini jersey to the Ibra shootout, I have no doubts with this. Indeed, allow him to block 1 or 2 shots. The power of Chiellini is really the only thing Sean is missing. Now we just need to fix Sean's beverage choices. Natty Light? Come on, Sean. I thought better of you. So he's saying that. He's doing it.
Oh no, he's doing it.
Oh man, this was not previewed for James.
There you go.
Full chug.
That was a 3/4 chug.
Well, my eyes are watering, so that's all he gets.
All right.
Drinking water is hard. For those that not on YouTube,
Sean
just popped a natty light and chugged 3/4.
They could hear it. I popped it right near the mic.
It was intentional. All right, Will's comment. You don't have anything else to say. It was just
that's it. That's
good. All right. So Will strongly disagrees that everyone would prefer a consistently bad referee to an inconsistent. Consistency is important, but you'll never get beyond the human factor of viewing angles, oscillating dispositions, and general variance of individual events. They absolutely need to improve the consistency of VAR, and there's no excuse not to. But I'm not taking worse calls in the name of consistency. The only way I'm accepting this argument is if you're saying that the rules are applied differently based on the team, creating an unfair advantage for the favored teams, a claim not uncommon in Italy. But I don't sense that from what you were saying. So this is a comment about last week about how we were talking about the West Ham Liverpool game, I believe, about how VAR referees in general have been incredibly inconsistent. And I think I made the claim that I would rather have them be bad but consistently bad than off and on bad and good. And I think, thinking back on it, that's kind of a low IQ take on my point. It was not a good statement. It's kind of stupid. Clearly you would rather have more good calls than bad calls, and you wouldn't sacrifice the good calls for the sake of just always having the same level.
I think he's misinterpreting what, because I agree with you, James.
Yeah,
I think he's misinterpreting what we were saying. Because I would rather, if a certain challenge is a foul to the referee, I would prefer that to be a foul every time.
Yeah,
and not a judgment call. I do understand what he's saying about sight lines and moving around the pitch, what he's supposed to do, but what he's saying about being good all the time and then making bad calls, and he would prefer that. No, like, I just want you to be consistent.
I think we're playing with, I guess, two things here. So like, I think we allow referees on the pitch to make poor decisions every now and then, because that's the human factor of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm okay with that.
What I think he's getting at, and maybe what our point should be, is that we should expect VAR to not allow those bad decisions to stand, and that we should expect more of VAR. We should allow for the human error of match officials on the field, but trust that VAR is going to rectify them. But right now, we don't trust that VAR is going to rectify them.
Because it's just like MLB. They never overturn anything.
Yeah. So they went from overturning way too much last year to now they're not overturning anything, and like this pendulum is just swinging back and forth.
Like, we do this too.
They can't figure it out. His next comment is this is, again, Sean, this is for you. I quote: If this was 1887, I would have thought your logo was really cool. 1887, I would have been like, man, that Arsenal logo is pretty cool. That's a weapon I've never seen before. Referring to a cannon. Will's next comment: Arsenal, founded in 1886. And this is for you, Sean. You live in Virginia and know better than to say something so historically inept as you wouldn't have seen a cannon 20 years after the Civil War ended.
Dang. Calling out the history major here.
He's giving you a hard time for saying that cannons would be new in 1887.
I saw a cannon today.
Yeah, but last week
it was cool.
Last week you were like, man, if I saw this new weapon, referring to a cannon as a new weapon in 1887. Cannons have been around since like the 12th century or something ridiculous. Probably longer. It's probably like the 2nd century or something.
I see what he's getting
whenever
at.
The Chinese created gunpowder, I think they created cannons.
It's the cannons are boring. That was my point.
It's better than a chicken. That's all I'm saying.
It's not better than a chicken. First of all, it's a cock and it's standing on a ball.
If I could figure out how to make a poll that people would respond to, I would 100% ask this question: what is better, a chicken or? I mean, I guess a chicken can feed you.
Hold on now. You need to say a chicken standing on the ball.
Okay, fine. I'll say it. A chicken standing on a. What's better, a chicken standing on a ball or some stupid cannon?
Some stupid cannon. Yeah.
Guys, we need this in the comments. Put this in the comments. Which one is better? Just stupid cannon or the chicken on a ball?
You can do it on Twitter. Vote on Twitter.
Yeah, we'll put a poll.
We're gonna put this out.
Brad, you're a Twitter guy.
I'll get the poll up.
Brad
Figure it out.
will be apologizing next week for forgetting to put the poll
some
up.
stupid ass cannon or a chicken standing on a ball. Have you ever seen a chicken standing on a ball? I haven't, but I do in my logo. But I've seen a cannon before. That's pretty regular.
Oh man! All right, U.S. men's national team.
Easy.
Let's talk about some stuff. So, of course, we're all Americans, and so we were very, very eagerly awaiting this U.S. men's national team Mexico match played in Columbus, Ohio, which I guess is an acceptable location. It's pretty north. It's kind of far away from Mexico. It's not quite as north as you can get in Maine, or South Dakota, but I'll accept it. So U.S. and Mexico playing 0-0 up until about like the 70-ish minute, and then Christian Pulisic comes on, scores a goal, makes it 1-0. Weston McKennie puts it away 2-0. U.S. men's national team beat Mexico 2-0. That was a super important game for the U.S. men's because they were 3 points behind Mexico going into that match. The victory there made them even on points and actually catapulted them to the top of the group. Now, that was the first game of the international
Mexico
break.
just drew or lost to Canada.
Yes,
too.
they did. You are stealing my thunder, Sean, because I was going to say yesterday the U.S. men's national team played to a 1-1 draw away in Jamaica, and the Mexican team went to some place in Canada where it was blizzarding, and the Canadians.
There was a snowdrift.
It was a bit more than a drift. It was a legit blizzard, bro. Canada wins 2-1. And actually, Canada winning that match and the United States drawing actually catapults Canada from third position up to first. So as it sits in qualification right now in CONCACAF, it's Canada is first, the United States are second, and Mexico are third. I forget who the fourth place team is that's headed
and
to
only three.
Yeah,
only three go,
is
right?
it Panama? Yeah, so the top three automatically qualify. Fourth goes to the playoff doubleheader against, I forget. I think it's Oceania.
Before we move on, this was a bunch of episodes ago, but I remember saying that why the F do we always play Mexico City in Denver? Either Denver or Texas. What the hell are we doing?
Dude, we played them in
Columbus. In Denver every time.
We played them in Columbus.
Yeah.
Good. Oh, good. They're starting to learn because every time we play them in freaking why?
Excuse me.
They play in Mexico City. It's a mile high. Play in New York. Play in Boston. Canada's out here in a snowstorm.
Yeah.
Play to your advantage.
Yeah.
Hey, Denver was a snow game. We've beat Mexico three times.
It's still a mile high, which is the important part.
3 times in 1 year. It's first time in the U.S.-Mexico rivalry that a team has beaten another team 3 times.
Historically, not recently.
Sean, I agree with you. We should never play Mexico in Miami. We should never play Mexico in Austin, Texas, or in Houston. Or in San Diego or in L.A. I agree with you. We should always. But honestly, you and I agree on this point. We need to build a United States soccer complex on the upper tip of the Michigan on the Western Peninsula in Michigan or something ridiculous. Like it needs to be in BFE. In potato country in Idaho or something like that. Yeah. But the problem is you also want American fans to come. So that's what they do. They rotate the stadium. So like they'll play in Charlotte here and then in Denver and then in Seattle and then in DC. And like they move the men's and women's teams around so that
stop rotating to cities that help the Mexico team.
I get that. But America is a super culturally diverse area. So like regardless of what city we play in, there will always be. So if we're playing El Salvador, there will be El Salvadorians there. If we're playing Chile, there'll be Chileans there. If we're playing Mexico, there will be Mexican people there.
I don't mind playing El Salvador in Mexico or in Miami. Sorry.
What I'm saying is that like regardless of where we go, there will always be people of that nationality in that city to support the club. What we need to do is we need to make the United States men's national team such a force that all Americans want to cheer for this team and go to the games and buy the tickets. And I think that they're doing a good job because if you look at the match in Columbus, that place was rocking. That place was loud and it was very, very pro USA.
The American Outlaws are doing a great job.
Yes, they are.
Columbus fought tooth and nail to keep their team.
Yeah.
That
I think it was in Columbus. I don't. It was in Ohio. I don't remember if it was Columbus or Cleveland.
It's Columbus.
It was Columbus. I thought it was Columbus, but I know that they played in Ohio.
Columbus's fan base is so powerful that they changed the logo since they couldn't move the squad, and then the fan base made them change it back.
Yeah. So
that's how powerful that fan base is.
So the U.S. men's national team sitting in a very good position. It could have been a very bad international break for us if we had lost to Mexico and dropped these 2 points against Jamaica. Like clearly we expected to beat Jamaica. I think we should have expected to beat Jamaica, but the goal that the Jamaicans scored was outworldly. It was insanity. It's like 40 yards screaming into the top corner.
That was a gorgeous goal.
It was insane. It was just, and so but I think picking up 4 points and being in second with only 6 matches left to play in World Cup qualification, I think that America is sitting very, very securely. Now, we still do have to go to Mexico City and play at the Azteca, which is never easy. And especially Mexico having lost to the United States 3 times in a row, they will want to get a win against the United States. And Mexico will, depending on where, I think that's in March. So I think that's 1 or 2 international breaks away. So it could be, anyway, it doesn't matter. But
secondly, Mexico is sitting in the same spot US did 4 years ago.
In third?
Literally, same points. Yep, same points, same outcomes.
I mean,
we're gonna have a Mexico-less World Cup.
That would be boring. I hope that Mexico qualify. But I mean,
Canada.
I'd be okay with it if they don't.
Me too.
I mean, they can. I mean, how much shit was talked about the United States men for not qualifying in 18? So,
yeah,
I wouldn't mind. But yeah, I'm pretty happy about that. Talking about UEFA though, interesting. So they just wrapped up all of their first level of qualification, and a bunch of teams qualified and everything like that. England's in, so that's pretty good for our clubs and our players. We'll see some good English representation at the World Cup. But Portugal and Italy, the European champions Italy, fell into the qualification playoffs. Not something that they were expecting, I think. Italy's been on a poor run of form after the Euros. They had gone 28 games unbeaten or something like that, and have dropped, I think, 4 games since the Euros, lost 4 games if I'm not mistaken. So they've been on a pretty poor run of form. So there's a circumstance or a possibility that Italy don't qualify for the second World Cup in a row. And that would be crazy to me, especially with I think that Italy is really good in a tournament setting. That the strengths of the Italian team are really strong in a tournament setting, but qualification is a long drawn out process. And I think that maybe that those benefits are mitigated slightly.
I think I jinxed Jorginho because he actually missed the penalty that sent them to the playoffs.
Yeah, he skied it, right?
He skied it.
But that's the thing about Jorginho is that he misses penalties. That's a thing about him. Didn't he miss 5 last year?
No, we did the math. He's missed 5 or 6 his whole career.
I find that.
Let me re-pull it up. Hold on.
I thought he missed 5 last year. Anyway.
This is unimportant.
oh, it's unimportant. Whoa. We will, All right, we're moving on then.
He's missed 6 his whole career.
All right.
Yeah, he did miss 5 in the last year. That is correct.
Okay. So this is a trend. This is a trend, Brad.
He's missed in his whole career. I'm okay with that. I'm 32-6. I'm okay with that.
But he's missed 6 over the last 12 months.
He hasn't missed since December. He hasn't missed for Chelsea since December 26th, 2020. I
think that's because they took the penalty taking responsibilities away from him, didn't they? Okay.
He still takes them.
All right. Well, we move on. So, Sean, you were messaging us in our group chat, and you were saying that you had some more thoughts. Oh, Brad, do you want to break in real quick?
I was going to lead this in a different way. So, okay. So Sean, what's the play for Tottenham this week, and what does Conte do now that Romero and Højbjerg both got injured over this international break?
Lose.
to Leeds. I mean, at least he was playing Leeds. But anyways, so what does this do for your Spurs expectations, and what do you see happening now that Conte's in charge?
So my expectations, your interview leadership skills need to improve. So the expectations
needs to improve.
Yeah, they're going to. The expectations do not change.
Okay.
So I said in the group text at the beginning of the season, if we sign Conte, I would have said it's throwaway year. It's a let him get his culture and his people in. I don't care where we finish. Conte is going to do his thing. So if we would have signed him in August, way different story.
Well, I think surely if you had Conte from the summer, your expectations would have been Europa at the minimum, Champions League expectation. Fourth, I think would have been the expectation.
No. With the roster we had.
Interesting.
We talked about that at the beginning.
Yeah. This is surprising.
Sheets, because I think in the sheets you had top 4.
I didn't grab the sheets. I didn't grab the sheets.
So this is a weird take for me, because I think that when we talked about this, and we talked about this like 2 weeks ago, I think you said that the expectations coming into the season was 4th.
That's me.
But I think beyond the, like, that's what I want. I thought you were saying that was what the expectation for the club was. That's what your take on it.
So, all right. Yeah. So, yeah. Well, that's probably the fandom coming out. And I try not to. I try to be objective.
Okay.
I try really hard. But now that we have Conte and Romero, who's hurt, unfortunately.
How hurt is he? Do we know?
It's a hamstring injury.
It was a thigh. Yeah, it was a thigh injury. So who knows?
That could be 4 weeks or 4 months.
If it's a muscle, it's who knows? It could be a knock on the knee. It could be a pulled hamstring.
It looked like a hamstring from how he went down.
Emerson Royal, Gill, and Golini, and they're all contributing. And now Conte comes. Those signings make our team a whole lot better. Like, so let's take Romero's fresh injury, which was a day or two ago.
Yeah.
Let's take that out of the picture. Now we've got a squad that Conte can work with. And that's what I truly believe is that now we can probably run Conte's scheme. Because it's a 3-5-2, right?
Generally, yeah.
Usually.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's Skip and Højbjerg, who also is hurt. So now we got to figure that out. But in theory, when we were texting about this, we've got that, and that's the Son and Kane up top, and we got Reguilon and Royal screaming up the wings. Now we've got something we can work with. Yeah.
Who's the 8 or the 10 role?
Oh, it could be Lucas. That's what we need, is someone to distribute. It could be Lucas.
How is it not Dele Alli? That's my question.
Yeah.
How is this? How is it?
It could be.
It should be. That's his position, isn't it?
Maybe. Maybe he slots into that. Maybe he snaps out of his. All he wants to do is shoot little Instagram promos for all the shit he's promoting. Like, he doesn't care about what's on field. He's making more money promoting shit.
Blows my mind.
It's insane. Like, he's so talented, and it's wasted on Instagram.
I think it's wasted on his mentality. Like I'm totally cool with footballers having lives outside of football. Like Marcus Rashford is doing great work outside of football.
Make your money. Don't make your money. It doesn't matter to me.
It's all up here, right? Like Mourinho came in and told him that he was lazy, and he was like, "Oh man, I am lazy."
And then doubled down on
and
the
he's
laziness.
like embraced the lazy. He's like, "Oh,
lazy?
You think I'm lazy? Shit, I'm gonna be lazy."
Well, watch this. I'm gonna start doing hair commercials.
Right. So like Mourinho said that in order to motivate him, and he's just like, man, I'm gonna outlast you, Jose. And I mean, to be fair, he did.
He didn't. No, but it's just like.
So what are your expectations? You say throwaway season, and you don't care where they finish?
No, my expectation now, we're in November.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're only 11, 12 games in. My expectations now are 4. Like, do I think we're going to finish top 3? No. My expectations are to sneak in behind Liverpool, Chelsea, Man City.
You guys are 6 points off of 4th.
6 points.
You're not out. You're not out of 4th.
No,
but you're in 9th. So saying like me saying, oh, we're only 6 points off of 1st, but we're in 5th, I think is a different conversation than saying we're 6 points off of 4th and we're not. Actually, it's exactly the same. So yes, never mind.
Right, but there's a difference from going to the mid-table to the top 4. Like, I don't genuinely see 17 clubs worse or 16 clubs worse than Tottenham. If you guys get Europa League, I think that's a big win. I think if you guys finish 6th or 7th, I think you guys back in the Conference League next year.
That's a loss.
Yeah, I think you want to avoid the Conference League like the plague, personally.
But I think that's what you guys are gonna get. So let's do this, because you already said Chelsea, City, Liverpool, right? West Ham on form.
No.
And Arsenal. Well, I definitely think Arsenal's better team than Tottenham.
Put a caveat with West Ham on form. When you have to put a caveat, they're not deserving.
West Ham for 11 games of the season.
Okay.
There we go. Is that better?
You still put a caveat.
I don't know, Sean. Like, I think...
Sean, you guys have scored 9 goals.
Yeah, I agree with you.
There's one team worse than
under
you
Nuno.
Goals.
Under Nuno, we've had one game.
Okay.
How do you win when you score 9 goals?
Let me throw it to you this way, Sean. Hold on.
It's all under Nuno. What?
How many goals? Talking about? How many goals did Harry Kane score over 2 games for England just now? Scored 7 goals.
4?
Scored 7 goals between the 2 games.
Yeah, imagine that.
Clearly, there's an issue with the team if he can't score goals for his club. So, I feel like that's an
the issue was Nuno. It's over.
I don't think that just fixes it magically. If you have the same players with Conte, I don't think that fixes it.
So
look, I think Arsenal's a better team than Tottenham. I think you're on your levels. I think you're on your levels with Crystal Palace and Everton this year.
That's rough.
I
don't know. I think
Brighton's probably going to drop. So let's do this realistically, right? West Ham will probably end up at 5th.
I mean, they've got the Europa League to deal with.
Brighton are going to drop. Right, so they'll finish 5th or 6th.
Wolves are going to drop.
Brighton are going to fall. Wolves are going to fall. So you get 7th again. Because I think Man United, I don't
know. United's trash
Cristiano, right, but I think Ronaldo gets them enough goals that they win enough games to get those points.
Maybe. I don't know. I could see Tottenham United duking it out for 5th, 6th. West Ham in there as well.
I see for 6th. I think the top 5 of the table are going to be the top 5 of the table.
Hey, I'm okay with that, Brad. I'm all right with that.
Look, and I would say Arsenal will drop, but you guys won't have European football. So there's no reason.
I think that's a huge boon for us.
To not get out of top 5. Yeah,
I think it's a huge boon for us.
You guys have the FA Cup and the league, and that's it.
We always have the EFL Cup as well.
Right, but that ends in 3 weeks, or 4 weeks, right?
Well,
it ends by December.
But it ends, but then the finals in February or something like that. If Arsenal make it to the final, and anyone could win the Carling Cup this year because City are out of it. So
because of West Ham.
Yeah, I think I feel like it's unfair to say that Brad put a caveat that West Ham are on form. I think West Ham are good this year. I think we all undervalued them this year, and I think that they're good.
I think West Ham is replacing Leicester in this.
Maybe this year.
This year, not consistently.
I don't know. I mean, so this is actually a talking point we have coming up here in 30 seconds. Is that West Ham just had a huge inflection in investment of money. Ukrainian billionaire bought 27% stake in West Ham.
I thought it was Czech Republic.
Maybe he's Czech. I don't know. Eastern
Czech
European.
Republic.
Who cares? Who cares where he's from? But investing a lot of money into West Ham United. So I think an argument could be made that, especially if West Ham, if that guy's going to lead to a takeover of the club overall, that they could be in there knocking Leicester out of the big six. Or I guess they're the big seven. I guess Leicester's the seventh team. They're not in the big six. Whatever the big six means. But yeah, so I think it's unfair to say that West Ham are only on form this year, because they're playing very well. They've only dropped 10 points, something like that. They've dropped 10 points through 11 games.
And they had a great second half of last season. So like, you're correct. Me saying on form was 100% wrong, because they've been playing amazingly well.
I'm not taking issue with. I'm not taking issue with you saying on form. I'm taking issue with Sean having issue with you saying on form. But yeah, I don't know. I know Sean wants us to give our opinions on what I think Spurs expectations are. I think Spurs expectations for the remainder of the season, I think they are on 16 points. I think at bare minimum they should be thinking Europa League. Now, granted, like they do have a lot of injuries right now that they've been hit with, and on top of that, like their form is not good. But I don't know. Like they're not out of the shot they're not out of the shout for Champions League, and they're certainly not out of the shout for Europa League. So I think that the expectation that Levy set for Conte is, I want to be in Europe next year.
I don't think that's wrong as an expectation.
You just don't think they'll do it.
I don't see them getting it. Yeah,
I do.
Yeah, and I love Conte. I love Conte as a coach. I think Conte is going to be great for Tottenham. I think they might actually win something under him.
I don't know.
I don't see them getting to Europe.
I don't see how they don't, personally. I think.
Okay, if we're counting the Conference League, are we counting the Conference League?
Sure. Yeah, I think you have to. I think you have to count
the Conference League. Then sure, that's where they're going to end. That's where I think they end up.
This seems to me that Spurs are at their worst right now. They're not scoring goals. They're losing games. I think they can only really improve from here. I don't think that they're going to go on a 10-game run like Arsenal did last year, where they get like 3 points from 10 games. I don't think that's going to happen.
Or Conte's run with Chelsea coming through the holidays too. We went on like a 15, 16 game unbeaten run.
Well, what I'm saying, they're certainly not going to do that. I'm with
you. I don't think they're going to do that at all.
I think they'll pick up points. I think that they will drop points, but I don't know.
January is going to be important, but I don't know who.
I think come January 1st, Spurs will still be in the thick of the race for the Europa League. I think. I do think that the Champions League is a bridge too far for them this year, but I think that they still have the points that they could realistically be fighting for it.
Sure, if Harry Kane and Son end up having like 2 months of 20 goals.
Because that's the thing. Like if Harry Kane turns it on, and he starts scoring goals, like they will start winning games again. If their biggest issue is that they're not scoring goals, they will find goals eventually. Goal scorers start scoring eventually.
Their biggest issue is Harry Kane is their best midfielder. He's their best striker, and he's their best defender, like on set kicks. So like you're asking him to do everything.
Yeah.
And he's dad bod Kane now.
Yeah, the problem is that he has to drop deep to receive the ball to be creative. But if he has to do that, he can't be in the box receiving the creative ball. So, yeah. What are your thoughts on this? Dean Henderson was not out of a job very long.
Dean Henderson's coming to Norwich. He's
right.
About to
that's
be
official.
In the sticks.
That's officially official. I think
he's going to be in the sticks. I didn't know he got his loan deal.
Oh, Dean
Smith.
Dean Smith. Dang it. Dang.
I left it there. I was going to change. I was like, I should change this.
You're trolling me, bro. You're trolling me.
I even said Dean to Norwich.
I read the note on the rundown. I said Dean
Perfectly.
Henderson. I meant Dean Smith. Dean Smith has not been out of a job very long, Brad. Isn't that crazy?
I know, right? He was only out for like 2 weeks.
Oh, you're changing the scene on me. I'm gonna.
My bad. I messed the whole thing up.
I'm gonna. Did you kick him out of the call?
Did he? Oh well, he had to drop. He dropped himself.
Look at this. Oh no, I don't want to do that.
I just messed up everything, didn't I?
You didn't mess up anything, Brad. I'm just. I'm rearranging things.
Well, you're doing that. Yeah, Dean Smith was out for like what? Like I think a week. Not even.
Like not
that's
even.
Paperwork. They were like, "Oh, hey, we want Frank," and then, "Oh, Dean's there." No, Dean got his team up to the championship. Frank. You kind of failed with Davey there.
I think what happened was that Frank didn't want to come to Norwich, right? He didn't.
I think it was a combo of the two things. I think Frank would have taken Norwich depending on what they
board
were expecting.
Yeah, what the board set out for him.
What they were willing to spend.
Yeah.
Right. I would have loved Frank to go to Norwich only because Billy's there. But I think Dean Smith will play very well with will be able to mold Billy Gilmore a lot more in the second half. So I want him to stay there. There's a rumor he was coming home.
That was the point that I think Dean Smith had like a press conference or whatever that said he was really excited about Billy Gilmore and that like, he was there to develop and whatnot. So
I think that would be fantastic to get him his minutes going forward. I think Dean Smith is a great coach for Norwich. I mean, he can, worst comes to worst, they go down, he can bring them back up because he knows the championship, right? Like,
true.
Just went through that with Aston Villa.
Do you think that went through the board's calculus at Norwich? Is that like we have a legitimate shot at being relegated? So let's get a manager who knows how to navigate the championship.
Yeah, that's what Newcastle did too.
It's true.
But we keep saying that.
I mean,
Eddie Howe we'll bring them back up. Like I think those are your two spots coming back up.
You think? Well, I mean, if Newcastle go down, they're absolutely coming back up because, like, if they look at, like, I don't think that there will be an exodus from Newcastle, and the squad that Newcastle has right now is good enough to succeed in the championship.
Totally.
And so they have the money to be able to maintain their squad. There's no reason for them not to be able to come back up if they go down. I'm still not convinced Newcastle go down this year. They're only both Newcastle and Norwich are only 5 points away from safety. And there's a lot of football to be played. Now, granted, they have looked very, very bad. Like Norwich has only scored 5 goals. So they're quite anemic. Yeah. It's Norwich and then Liverpool, Tottenham.
Yeah.
So like they're quite anemic in front of goal. But
what happens with Newcastle, we have to say what happens in January. Who do they buy with their 100 mil that they have to spend?
It's super hard to sign players in January.
I agree, but I mean, you don't think that Martial or Lingard are going to be available for a certain price?
I mean, they might be.
I think definitely
they probably will be.
I think the price that Newcastle will pay, they will be. Is
Martial really an upgrade over Callum Wilson? Is he a significant upgrade? I guess
he's definitely an upgrade. Callum Wilson's also worked with Eddie Howe before too, so like from Bournemouth days. So that's probably a good thing there.
I mean, like
that's maybe not the spot, but Tarkowski coming in, I think that's one of the big rumors is like his contract is up, so you pay a small fee and you get him 6 months early. I think that's the play there, and that helps shore up that defense. Probably need another defender, maybe a goalie, but I don't think you get a goalie in. You don't get a goalie in January unless you're like loaning Dean Henderson.
And
he's going to Norwich.
But we've already talked about. We talked last week that he should be starting for Manchester United.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. I think it's kind of humorous that Smith has already found a job again, but unsurprising to a degree, especially if you look at it the way that you presented with a manager who's been successful in the championship and has done a good job at building teams. But I think Norwich have a history of going through managers, if I'm not mistaken.
No, Farke's been there for like 4 seasons now.
What was the team that goes through managers? Which team is it? Oh, it's Watford. It's Watford. Watford's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, because they cut their manager way early and brought in Claudio.
Yeah. That's who I was thinking. Yeah, so I don't know. I think it'll be interesting.
Also, maybe next time they come up, they'll stay up with Dean because he's done that as well. Like I think Dean Smith is well equipped for whatever Norwich happened to do this season. Going into next season, he's ready to do it.
Okay.
So I think that's the important part.
And I think when we were talking about Norwich coming up this year, you were saying that this is their business models. They go up and then they go down. They go up and they go down. They go up and they go down. So maybe they're just staying true to form. But let's look at match day 12. So just to fill listeners in, if you're looking for Sean, he had an emergency. He had to leave. So hope everything's okay with Sean, but you won't be hearing from Sean for the rest of the evening. So you just got Brad and I for the rest of the evening. If you're listening to us on the podcast, we just wanted to fill you in on that. If you were looking for some spicy Tottenham hot takes,
we'll still give you the hot takes.
We'll have hot takes. They
just won't be the good hot takes.
So on this weekend coming up. There's 8 games on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. We've got Leicester hosting Chelsea Saturday morning, Villa hosting Brighton, Burnley hosting Palace, Newcastle hosting Brentford, Norwich hosting Southampton, Watford hosting Manchester United, Wolves hosting West Ham United, Liverpool hosting Arsenal, Manchester City hosting Everton, and Spurs are hosting Leeds. That's quite a weekend. I think there's some good games this weekend.
Yeah, this is a real good week.
I think on paper, the Premier League expected the Leicester-Chelsea game to be better, like coming into the season, but I still have a hard time counting Leicester out yet. Like they're still dangerous. They just 4-2'd Man U a couple weeks ago. So like I think they're dangerous.
They are. That's and it's not that it's not I don't know if it's a good game on paper, but it's a trap game for Chelsea.
Yeah, this is
it's
definitely
a game where we might be looking ahead to where we play Juve after that, right?
Yeah, it's Champions League. And you guys need results.
We play Champions League after that.
You guys need results.
At least a draw there. We need at least a draw there. Or draw in Russia. One of the two we need to draw in and we're good.
But could you imagine the pressure you're on if you don't get a result against Juve? You lose at home to Juve, there's a lot of pressure at that point.
Oh yeah.
And if Zenit beat Malmo by a big amount, like there's a lot of pressure that's heaping on. Now
it comes into that game. But, but
I think Tuchel is a good enough manager to focus on what's going on right now. And so I think that he will get you guys prepared for Leicester. Now, you guys have had a lot of players on international duty, as the big clubs always do. Leicester have had fewer players on international duty. So that means Brendan Rodgers has probably been able to more specifically hone in on what he wants to do against Chelsea, whereas Tuchel will have to be more broad in his approach, I think. But I think it should be a good game. I think Chelsea will win ultimately, but I definitely agree with you that it's a banana peel for a potential slip up. It's a trap game for Chelsea,
especially after the Burnley game and that draw there. I would have loved that to be a win.
Of course, I mean
it makes this game a lot easier, I think. But yeah,
if we go down, we think about Liverpool hosting Arsenal. I don't know how to feel about this game.
I think it's a really good test for Arsenal for their mental strength, because like let's be real, this is probably a loss.
It should be, right? Like, and this is my thought process. Like going to Anfield, we have not been good away at Anfield for many years now.
Anfield also hasn't had the magic that it's had. Like this year, like
that's because
Liverpool have not. No, this year Liverpool have not been playing well at home.
I'd have to pull up their home form. But I mean, generally speaking, Liverpool have not been playing that well this season anyway. But so yes, I agree with you. Like this seems like it should be a loss, but I'm gonna hit you with a but. Liverpool have a lot of injuries right now. Arsenal have almost no injuries. So like we are definitely going to Liverpool with our first team. And Liverpool, I don't think the same can be said for Liverpool. Now, will it be enough to overcome Liverpool? I don't know. I mean, like they still have Mo Salah. Still Salah. Like Ben White's falling on his butt again. We'll see. I mean, like Ben White and Gabriel have developed quite the defensive partnership. And we probably won't have Partey, which has made us look a lot more stable. But I don't know. Apparently, Andy Robinson is going to be a test for the weekend. Jordan Henderson he might be out. Sadio Mane might be out. We already know that Roberto Firmino is probably out. So like, there's a laundry list of players that good important players. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not expecting 3 points. I could see us sneaking away with a draw. Dude, I would be over the moon if we beat Liverpool. Like I would.
That's a draw. Yeah.
I would be super happy. I'm not expecting it.
You know what? I'm interested in Wolves West Ham. Like,
are you okay?
Are Wolves? So have Wolves turned it around and are actually good, or did they have a lucky run of form, or did they have like a lucky amount of games to go through? Right.
Yeah. So Wolves are in
Crystal Palace. Or Crystal Palace.
Well, before we go to Crystal Palace,
no, I'm saying before they played Crystal Palace last, before they took that L, They had won.
Yeah, they were good.
Four
good
straight.
Yeah, they were on a good run of form.
Besides, yeah.
That I think that's a legitimate game right there. I think it'll be a good one.
It's a sneaky game.
It's going to be interesting to see how long David Moyes keeps West Ham playing at the level that they're playing at. And I know Tim Howard, we watch on NBC, that's who carries the Premier League in America. And Tim Howard played like 400 times for David Moyes or whatever it was. And he was saying that like one of the strengths that David Moyes has is that like he really invests in the players and he gets the players to just like, and I think he used the phrase run through brick walls for him. So like, how long will that be effective is the question. And can they keep it up for a whole season? Can they keep it up until the Europa League like just wears them thin? I don't know. Like, we looked at. I think that they're sitting pretty well for qualification in the Europa League, so they shouldn't have too much worry going into the Europa League match this Thursday. But like, you definitely don't want to take this game off and lose. I definitely think they want to keep the momentum going and beat Wolves. Wolves seem like a beatable team for the West Ham team that we've seen this year. Now, I say all that. You heard it here first. West Ham's going to lose by 5 goals. Arsenal's going to beat Liverpool by 5 goals. And then Arsenal's going to be in third this weekend. After this weekend. It'll be crazy. Whoa.
Wow.
Whoa. Actually,
wait, what?
I'm going to take it next level. Back it up.
This still doesn't do it. Yeah,
it
draw
does.
there.
What are you talking about? If West Ham lose by 5 goals and Arsenal win by 5 goals, we'd be even.
You're still 15 goals. You're in fourth. You forget they're playing Liverpool. Or you're playing Liverpool. Never mind. They take the other. Never mind. I'm with you. But you'd be. I'm with you. Okay. Sorry. It took me a second to catch up with the math. We needed somebody to do Sean math on the pod.
All right, here.
I had to take it for Sean.
Actually, they need to lose by 6. Because I think if we're even on goal difference, they're still ahead of us. So we'll need them to lose by 6. City, on the other hand, City need to lose by 17 to Everton, and then we'll be in second, baby. We need a 17-point goal swing. That's not happening.
It would explode if that happened. Oh my gosh.
I mean, well, like City,
though.
Everton, like I could see Everton beating City. I could see Everton beating this Manchester City this year. I mean, Pep has them.
Not how Everton's been playing.
Yeah, but Rafa, like, I feel like Rafa can like steal a win here and there. I feel like he's got that in him.
Sure, but against Pep,
why not, man?
I mean, look, City isn't. I don't think City's a striker away from being a juggernaut, right? Like,
yeah,
they're at that. They're at the Chelsea point last year where they're like, if they had a striker, if they had somebody to get them some goals regularly.
If only there was one available this summer that they could have gotten.
And I don't know.
It's crazy. Actually, no, it's probably good for them that they didn't buy Harry Kane because Harry Kane can't find the goal.
I mean, I think a change of scenery was needed.
I think Harry Kane would be bagging goals in Manchester
falling
City.
Out. Like, this would be a 2-horse race, and it wouldn't even be close. Like, we wouldn't like it would be City and Chelsea the whole way.
Yeah, I mean, well, they would have
Chelsea's the better team, by the way.
City would have had at least 3 more points because they would have slapped Tottenham on the first match week.
Yeah,
but so yeah, I expect West Ham to beat Wolves. I also expect Liverpool to beat Arsenal. So I shouldn't get ahead of myself here.
Yeah.
What about the Spurs? We need to talk about the Spurs Leeds game. Leeds are a wounded animal, man. They're a wounded dog. They need points.
So
and what's better than Tottenham Hotspur to pick up points?
Right now, right? Because Spurs can't score. So like, I guess we're gonna really test to see if Harry Kane can score.
They can't score, and they've got injuries. Like, go put the knife in.
Here's the thing:
Bielsa.
Who gets the ball in this game? Because both want to counterattack.
That's a good question.
So, like, we figured out.
I think Spurs will
figure out against Spurs is you give them the ball and the Spurs can't score because they need a counterattack with Son to get into those channels.
True.
Leeds can't help but counterattack. That's it. Rafinha on a counterattack. Oh my gosh, he might be the best player in the league on the counter. Besides Salah. We're not counting Salah. But Rafinha's been playing out of his mind for Leeds, even though Leeds has been terrible. So, like, this is a very interesting game. Do they Do they catch him unawares? Because Conte's practices are grueling, and I don't know if this Spurs team is ready for all of that.
I think Spurs will dominate this game in terms of possession. Now, whether or not they create chances and whether or not they convert those chances, that's a different story entirely. But I think that Spurs dominate the possession, which is good for Leeds. That plays into Leeds' hands. Yep.
Yeah, very, very well.
Go get him, Bielsa.
And it takes Spurs' strengths away because, like we've said, they don't have an 8.
Yeah.
They don't have a 10. They don't have somebody to make that last pass.
I just don't.
Skip and Højbjerg are a great pair for defense, but they don't offer much going forward. I know Højbjerg just had like a banger of a goal, but like Conte whips out a banger of a goal every now and then, but we don't expect that from him.
Yeah.
We expect that from Mount.
Not Antonio.
Right.
N'Golo.
N'Golo. So, yeah, I think it's either going to be very, very boring or very, very interesting. That game can't be like, oh, that was a fun watch. You're going to be like, bro, that game was amazing. Or we're going to be like, that was the worst game ever. Like, what happened?
You know what game we didn't talk about, Brad?
Which game? Your pick of the week?
James's pick of the week.
Ooh.
Red Card Radio listeners, Red Carders. We still haven't decided what we're calling you guys yet. James's Radioheads. That's a good one. I like that one.
Radioheads.
Might hit some copyright issues there. Or
if we keep saying Red Card Radioheads, then we're good. True. Okay, we'll see how that works. So, loyal listeners, James's pick of the week for match day 12. You heard it here first. Norwich Southampton. Really? Norwich hosting Southampton. I thought you would have gone Newcastle Brentford. Nah, man. Brentford seems boring. But it's Brentford away. It's not Brentford at home. I have to have that distinction here. Brentford away. That's true. Not home. But so the reason why I picked this game is I haven't watched any Norwich this season really, except for the game against Arsenal. I mean, if my track record holds, I won't watch any more this weekend. So but you're not going to. Loyal listeners, I'm going to do my best to watch this match. I am making you a promise to do my best to watch this match. I'm not making you a promise that I will watch this match, but I'm making you a promise that I will do my best to watch this match. And maybe when I watch this match, maybe I'll tweet about it or something. And talk about Dean Henderson and goal. Yeah, Dean Henderson. He's a beast. He's gonna be in the touch line. Take over Team Cruel. Laying down the instructions. So yeah, that's James's pick of the week. Norwich Southampton. If you only have one game to watch this week, make sure you watch that Norwich Southampton game, and you will be happy. But that's all we got for tonight. We really appreciate that you guys are listening. If you haven't yet, if you were just using this last hour to test us out. Now, I think you know what you're going to get with Red Card Radio, and you definitely want to get it every week. Oh, yeah. Every week. So what you should do, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ring the sub notification bell if you're on YouTube, rate us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, share it with your mother, share it with your brother, do all those things, steal your wife or your husband's phone, and subscribe on all of those things as well, and we would really appreciate it. But... And, if you don't do those things, I forget what the mild inconvenience was. What happened just around this? Oh, the marathons. If you don't do those things, random marathon's going to show up. And you don't want that. Random marathon is the worst marathon. But we really appreciate it. As always, reach out to us. Leave us a comment. Reach out to us on Twitter. This man right here is at KSBradG. Even though he had to leave us midway through at Whiteheart_Sean, I am at James Tiffany. We collectively are at redcard_radio, and we would really appreciate it. Just a comment. Tell me how awesome I am. I would love to hear that over Twitter this week, guys. Keep an eye out for that Red Card Radio poll that Brad promised he will get out. He is our Twitter guy, so we'll see if that actually happens or not. Oh, it's actually easy. But until next week, guys, we really appreciate it. Have a good evening.